The North American International Championships has just wrapped up this past weekend, and oh my gosh, that finals game was an absolute doozy. Welcome everybody to another Pokemon VGC video. It's me, Ketsu, and today we're going to be looking at the results of the past North American International Championships that happened this past weekend, and we're going to be talking about the top 4 teams and how exactly this meta is going to be shaping out, stepping ever so closer into the World Championships. If this is the type of stuff you enjoy, please let me know by leaving a like down below, as well as maybe hitting that subscribe button. It helps me out a ton. But we're going to be starting off with one of the top 4 Pokemon of this event, going into the Miraidon and Zamazenta team done by Eric Rios. Now this team is actually quite interesting here. We have the Choice Scarf Miraidon, and again, Choice Scarf Miraidon has been very controversial as of late. A lot of people don't like Choice Scarf Miraidon, a lot of people don't mind Choice Scarf Miraidon, and now we're starting to see more of a preference of Choice Scarf Miraidon being more of a thing, which is quite interesting. We have the Terra Electric because, of course, since you're not running choice specs, you want that extra damage of the electric moves like Electro Drift and Volt Switch. We also have Electro Drift, Draco Meteor, Snarl, and Volt Switch, of course. Snarl being replaced with Dazzling Gleam because, of course, with choice specs not being there, Dazzling Gleam doesn't do as much damage because, again, the Terra type's not fairy, so you kind of want just extra input there to kind of lower down special attacks, things on like something like Calyrex or other Miraidon. It just helps you kind of have more survivability in that aspect as well, which is quite nice. We have the Electric Seed Volcarona going into Terra Grass with that Flame Body, Protect, Quiver Dance, Fiery Dance, and Giga Drain. Again, pretty standard set for Volcarona here. I think it was really nice. Normally you wouldn't see Volcarona without Grimmsnarl here, but the fact that you are seeing this happen is quite interesting in my opinion. I kind of like this concept. I like that Volcarona is starting to become more of a thing now, especially with that Electric Seed boosting its really frail physical defense. It's just a really nice Pokemon here, and me personally, I love Volcarona. It's one of my favorite bug types of all time, so it's really nice to see Volcarona coming into the limelight a little bit more and really showing off its good potential in Scarlet and Violet. Now this one is interesting. We have the Teal Mask Ogerpon with the Covert Cloak, Spiky Shield, Ivy Cudgel, Taunt, and Encore. This is very, very interesting here. So normally we see Ogerpon with one of the other masks, right? Because it just makes more damage, it gets an extra typing, makes Ivy Cudgel have a little bit more, well, both an extra typing and extra damage, which is quite nice as well. It's kind of weird to see a Teal Mask Ogerpon not only appearing in a international level event, but popping up in the top 4 is crazy. So of course, going into Terra, of course you've got other stats that boost up with depending on the mask, but with Teal Mask Ogerpon you have speed, and it's again quite interesting because now you have this really fast +1 Ogerpon that has Taunt and Ivy Cudgel and has Encore as well. You've got this really good disruption factor with Ogerpon, and Covert Cloak makes it a lot easier to make sure that you can just kind of buy ride fake outs, buy ride like any of these other factors like Icy Winds, or it's just really interesting to see this happen with Ogerpon, and I'm very, very intrigued here. So maybe Teal Mask Ogerpon might get a bit of a resurgence as more of a pure support one instead of that kind of fusion of support and offense that we've normally been accustomed to since the start of Ogerpon's introduction. So I don't know, maybe it's interesting, but I love my Ogerpon. I love Ogerpon. Any new thing with Ogerpon, I am 100% a fan of. So it's very nice to see Teal Mask Ogerpon do something well here. Of course, we have the Zamazenta with the Terra Water, Protect, Body Press, Iron Head, Wide Guard. Iron Head turning into Behemoth Bash once it goes into its crown form. Standard set for Zamazenta. Terra Water becoming more of a standard thing now since it's just a really good defensive typing. So I don't really complain. I can't complain. Zamazenta is just a really good Pokemon. Me being a Zamazenta main could be biased, but I think Zamazenta is a great one. We have the Assault Vest Rillaboom going into Terra Water as well. Grassy Guy, Fake Out, Woodhammer U-Turn, standard stuff for Rillaboom here, except for that Terra. Normally you would see Terra Fire to steer clear of those, you know, other grass type moves and other all those other moves that would kind of do damage to Rillaboom, but now we see Terra Water here, which again, very good defensive typing, can't really complain. It's pretty standard, I can't lie. Maybe Terra Water might be the future for Rillaboom when we get close to Worlds. Who knows? And then finally is the Focus Sash Chienpao going into Terra Ghost, Protect, Sucker Punch, Icicle Crash, and Crunch. Standard stuff for Chienpao. Again, nothing really much else to be said. Next up is the other top 4 team done by Kazuki Kobayashi with the Ice Rider Calyrex and Miraidon team. Full disclaimer here, every single one of these top 16 teams had either Miraidon or Shadow Rider Calyrex, or sometimes it was crazy. Like it was just nuts. Like there wasn't really a team that you didn't see have either Miraidon or Shadow Rider Calyrex. It was solely those two rocking the entire top 16. So you are going to be seeing a lot of Miraidon, you are going to be seeing a lot of Shadow Rider as well, so just bear with us here. We have the leftovers Ice Rider Calyrex going into Terra Water, Glacial Lance, Leech Seed, Tricker, and Protect. This is starting to become more of a normal set for Ice Rider Calyrex here. Because of its strong bulk and just being able to get a whole bunch of HP back with Leech Seed and leftovers, you don't really need to focus so much on attack. So it just makes Calyrex kind of this problem here where it's like, you've got this huge bulky Pokemon that can do big damage if it wants to, but just kind of like stalls you out in a sense and just kind of sits there and takes HP back and doesn't really have to worry about anything. It's a very, it's just a very siphoning Pokemon. It's insane. Like, Calyrex, I believe, is just absolutely insane. Ice Rider Calyrex is just nuts, in my opinion. We have the Life Orb Landorus going into Terra Poison, Sand Storm, Earth Power, Sludge Bomb Protect. Can't really complain there. Standard set for Landorus. We have the Choice Scarf, Rapid Strike, Urshifu going into Terra Water. Again, standard set of Surge Strikes, Close Combat, Aqua Jet, and U-Turn. We have the Electric Sea Farigiraf going into Terra Ground. Psychic, Trick Room, Helping Hand, Foul Play. Again, standard set for Farigiraf here. Terra Ground is also something that you quite see pretty much a lot most of the time, just to stay clear of things like Miraidon, which is quite nice. Speaking of, we have the Choice Specs Miraidon going into Terra Fairy, Electric Drift, Dazzling Gleam, Volt Switch, Draco Meteor. Standard Choice Miraidon set, and finally is the Assault Vest Incineroar going into Terra Bug, Flare Blitz, Knockoff, U-Turn, and Fake Out. Standard set for Incineroar, can't really complain. It is pretty much a standard set team here. It's a pretty structured, well-rounded, it's just the standard team for what you would expect for any one of these individual Pokemon here. I don't really want to change anything. I don't have any concerns. I think this team is great. I think all of these mons individually are pretty much like some of the peaks that you could get them at. I have no concerns. Next up, going into the second place team done by Marco Silva, which is a Shadow Rider Calyrex and Zamazenta team. Marco Silva is one of my favorite players to watch. I find him so entertaining to watch off the time. He's a fantastic person to watch. For me personally, if you want to learn how to use any team, Marco Silva is your guy. I'm a fan of watching Marco Silva play. But enough about that. We've got the Rillaboom with the Assault Vest, Terra Fire, Woodhammer, Grassy Glide, U-Turn, Fake Out, standard set for Rillaboom there. We have the Life Orb Shadow Rider Calyrex going into Terra Dark, Astral Barrage, Psychic, Nasty Plot, and Protect. We're starting to become out of that Encore slot here and going more into a Nasty Plot, since Encore is just starting to become a lot more easier to get rid of, since you do have things like, you know, Prankster Taunt Pokemon, which forces you to, you know, waste a Terra essentially. Not even to mention that there's just a lot of ways to play around it. You've got priority moves that you can just trap yourself into Encore with, like Sucker Punch or Wide Guard or Thunderclap. It doesn't really change much outside of Calyrex. It's a good way to get rid of, you know, Pokemons that want to prioritize Fake Outs, or Mons that, you know, don't have priority moves that want to just, you know, waste the turn on Protect, or you haven't got an ally that Follow Me or Rage Powder or anything like that. It's a very interesting concept, but outside of that, there's a lot of ways to counter Encore, so we're seeing more of an aggressive Shadow Rider Calyrex with that setup Nasty Plot, which is quite interesting. We have the Terra Water Zamazenta, Body Press, Heavy Slam, Wide Guard Protect, standard set for Zamazenta there. Terra Water again popping up. Terra Water might be the way forward, because again, you do have these things like Chien-Pao that want to run through that Terra Dragon Zamazenta that we've been seeing pretty much since the start of Scarlet and Violet, when Zamazenta was introduced for whenever he was legal for, which is again a quite interesting take here. So again, you're seeing a lot of these things like, you know, sometimes a Moonblast on Fluttermane, sometimes, you know, Draco Meteors on Miraidons. You've got all of these factors here that want to hit Dragon types for really good super effective damage. So Terra Water again being a very good defensive type in for Zamazenta. We also have the Rocky Helmet Incineroar again going into Terra Water, Knockoff, Helping Hand, Parting Shot, Fake Out. I feel like this for a supportive set on Incineroar is absolutely class. Helping Hand just does so much benefit on so many moves. It's absolutely insane. I am a massive fan of Helping Hand Incineroar. We have the Booster Energy, Terra Electric Raging Bolt, Thunderbolt, Dragon Pulse, Thunderclap, and Protect. Again, standard stuff for more of an aggressive Raging Bolt here. And finally is the Half Flame Ogerpon, Ivy Cudgel, Grassy Glide, Follow Me, and Spiky Shield. You have two Pokemon here that kind of prioritize that Grassy Glide, which again is quite interesting, because Ogerpon being able to get into that +1 Terra Fire boosted state that it wants to get into is very, very interesting. So you've got so much damage going on for Ogerpon here, and you don't really want to waste it on Woodhammer, sorry. You don't really want to waste it on like things like Power or anything like that. And Ivy Cudgel is just a really good fire type move, because again, Incineroar's not running a fire type move, so you need fire coverage from somewhere, which I feel like is great. And then finally is the #1 team done by Federico Camporetti, and that is a Miraidon Lunala team, and this one is really good. This is a Tail Room team, which is very, very interesting here. So of course we have the Covert Cloak Whimsicott going to Terra Water, Moonblast, Tailwind, Light Spoon, Encore, standard set for Whimsicott here, can't really complain. We have the Choice Band Urshifu, not Choice Scarf, it's Choice Band, with the Terra Ghost, Surge Strikes, U-Turn, Aqua Jet, and Close Combat. We have the Flame Orb Ursaluna with Terra Ghost, Facade, Headlong Rush, Earthquake Protect, standard set for Ursaluna, can't really complain. Choice Specs Miraidon, again, same thing that we've seen before. Terra Fairy, Electric Drift, Volt Switch, Draco Meteor, Dazzling Gleam. Again, standard set for Miraidon. Electric Seed Lunala going into Terra Fairy, Trick Room, Moonblast, Wide Guard, Moongeist Beam. I think Electric Seed Lunala is becoming more of the standard now, since we've normally seen Leftovers, Calm Mind, we've normally seen Meteor Beam, Power Herb, but I think Electric Seed Wide Guard is becoming more of the standard set for Lunala, because again, it's just a super bulky Pokemon. Shadow Shield just takes so much damage. You've got really good coverage on special attack with Moonblast and Moongeist. It's just really interesting. And then finally is the Assault Vest Incineroar with the Terra Bug, U-Turn, return knockoff Blurblitz fake out, standard assault vest Incineroar, in my opinion. Now, of course, we talk about my favorite part of these videos, the top used Pokemons for day 1, day 2, and the top cut as well. So going into day 1, Incineroar just running the top spot here, and pretty much running throughout the entire tournament here. Incineroar just becoming the top spot, which was absolutely insane. I remember seeing Urshifu and Rillaboom going really down on the table on day 2, which was quite interesting. Like, normally you see that, I always say this, normally you see the big 3, which is Incineroar, Urshifu, Rillaboom, always pop up in like the top 3 slots. Nothing really goes down beyond 5 here, but considering that they're really spaced apart, Incineroar being at number 1, then Urshifu, Rillaboom being at, like, I believe it was the 4th and 5th place respectively, it was really weird to see. It was really weird to see them like really spread out. You don't normally see them that spread out. Maybe it is the case where people are just getting a handle on Urshifu and Rillaboom, and just Incineroar having just so much of a good toolkit, a pretty decent typing, a really good ability, just not being able to get that much of a download on, because again, Incineroar can just keep switching its whole dynamic. It can be a supportive Pokemon, it can be a defensive Pokemon, it can be offensive if it really wants to. There's like so many uses that you can kind of pop Incineroar into that it's kind of just like you don't get the full download on Incineroar, because it will always change in the next tournament. There will always be something different with Incineroar, which I feel like is just absolutely insane. Amoonguss is doing pretty good as well. Love to see my Mushroom doing well. We got Grimmsnarl still popping up there, but not too much lately. I think everyone's starting to get a handle on screens. Grimmsnarl not really showing up as too much, because again, as long as you've got like fast taunt Pokemon, things like, you know, Landorus or you know, other those dynamic factors here, like Pranksters as well, especially if Grimmsnarl wants to go Terra. If you can force the Terra out to take rid of that dark typing, Pranksters can just go with Taunt. You used to have Encore on Calyrex, so maybe Grimmsnarl might see a bit of resurgence. We're not entirely sure. But let's see how these things play out anyway as the future of this whole regulation goes down. And then of course you've just got your other standard mons here. You've got Iron Hands, Chien-Pao, Raging Bolt. You've got Volcarona popping up here. Bloodamane going all the way down is quite interesting. Again, I think it's solely because of just Shadow Rider Calyrex being here. Like, unless you have the Sun for Bloodamane, your Shadow Rider Calyrex is just going to run through it. Like, you've got to waste the Focus Sash. You need the Sun to make Floodamane work. And even so, even if you did, it's not the biggest dynamic, because you can you've got multiple ways of dealing with Floodamane. You don't exactly need Shadow Rider Calyrex, but you know, you've got things like Trick Room, which can stall out Floodamane. You've got, you know, things like Ice Rider Calyrex that can almost essentially one-shot a Floodamane as well. It's not the best Pokemon lately to have on the field, because it's so frail, and you just have a Mon that can hit it for super effective damage that's faster than it. Floodamane's whole jig was that it was the fast glass cannon. If you just have a faster glass cannon in front of it, it's more or less useless. It's essentially useless. So after that, we have the most popular restricted Pokemon, and of course Miraidon is popping up in the top slot. In the top card, it is literally over 50%. It's almost 60% in the top card, which is absolutely insane. Miraidon is just everywhere, and I wouldn't even put it past me that Miraidon would be, it's pretty much the #1 contender to win Worlds again. Back-to-back Worlds is going to be absolutely insane if Miraidon pops this off. This is going to be absolutely insane. This game has been out for, I believe, what, about 4 years or so now, and the fact that Miraidon has been legal for 2 of those years, and it is won last year and is pretty much a #1 contender at this point to win this year, is going to say massive numbers on how good Miraidon actually is as a Pokemon in general, and it's going to be absolutely insane. So I'm very excited to see how Miraidon plays this. Then of course we just have the other standard restricted, Shadow Rider Calyrex popping up as well a lot, Ice Rider Calyrex popping up a lot, Zamazenta staying consistently firm in around 4th place, 5th place slot. So he's just been, Zamazenta's just been consistently consistent throughout. Like, honestly, he has just been so consistent. Koraidon not getting used so much, same with Kyogre, because again, weather's not really a thing that would pop up so much. Lunala getting more of a resurgence. Terrapagos again staying consistent. Normally in terms of consistency, you would see Zamazenta and Terrapagos kind of being consistent, not exactly winning most tournaments, but not exactly getting dropped by most of the player base as well. So it's kind of that nice level ground. And then finally is the most popular restricted pairs, where we have Miraidon and Ice Rider popping up in the top spot at day 1, and then kind of tying up with Shadow Rider and Zamazenta as well in the top card as well, which is quite interesting here. Again, you've got Koraidon Calyrex, or Shadow Rider Calyrex I should say, I should make that very definite, just popping up a little bit here. And then you've got Miraidon Lunala. These are pretty much like the main pairings you see. Maybe someone might blow it out of the water at Worlds again, I'm not entirely sure. It might be a different pairing, I'm not entirely sure. It could be something. For all we know, it could be Swordfish. I'm just saying, it just looks like from the way things are going, Miraidon is definitely a #1 contender for the top spot here for Worlds. But that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this little recap. If you did, let me know by leaving a like down below and letting me know what your favorite match or favorite team was during this past weekend. And as always, guys, I will see you all in the next one. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you all soon. Okay, bye.